Hello out there. Good morning, traders. It is January 5th, 2024. Let's get into our ESDMI or daily market insight for today. We'll start with our recap and then we'll update our session plan. So, taking a look at what was going on with our plan from yesterday, we had a general line in the sand, only one really for the main idea for the session yesterday. Scenario one being that we hold below this area heading down into this neutral zone here. Scenario two being that we break above and head up towards this neutral target up above here. And essentially, yesterday was a fantastic example or a case study around acceptance and how to handle an alternating kind of scenario around the line in the sand. We ended up seeing yesterday is, the market was holding below our line in the sand, started to pull back up into there. And this was really the main opportunity for us, or this area, to get on board with scenario one early in our session. It does not hold. You can see that it kind of just goes sideways and we end up breaking out above it. From here on, we switch into scenario two and we're monitoring for the bullish side of things, which we get opportunities around this section here for that. And once again, we do not hold. We end up going sideways for a little bit of time here, and we break down below it. Once we break down below it, it's back into scenario one in terms of acceptance, and we're looking to get short again, and we get short down into our main target area here. And like I had mentioned earlier, this is just one of those days where we have the overall idea right, but the precision around our line in the sand just didn't play out the way we had hoped it would have. And it really became a case study in how to monitor for acceptance and position ourselves around our line in the sand and still be able to capture the idea even after maybe a couple of failed attempts. All right, so let's update our levels for today and go over our plan for this session. Okay, so taking a look at what's going on today, we have an interesting landscape as we head a little bit lower in the ES, because as we continue to go lower, we're going to be running into some higher time frame bullish references, and they're going to act both as destination areas for us and places to monitor for possible inflections. So taking a look at our overall landscape, what we expect coming out of today, this is our main line in the sand, or our main idea. That's the current scenario that we're following to the downside. So this 47-44 area, that's our main list around today's session, with scenario one being we hold below it and continue to the downside into this bullish area here. If we get scenario two, that would be a break back up above this zone, heading into that first neutral level there, and then a possible continuation to the upside to that upper neutral zone there. And that would be our main kind of trading plan for the session here. It's kind of stay bearish underneath this line in the sand area, heading into this bullish zone. Now, what's interesting about this bullish zone down here is it's coming from a higher time frame, and it's kind of a major spot where we could start to see inflections to the upside. So as we pull back down into here, this area can act as a possible support level for us in the session. So this is also going to be a line in the sand for us overall here. And scenario three around this line in the sand here would be that we hold up above this particular zone. So as we continue to come down, if we get to this area here, be monitoring for a little bit more of a complex type of price action around here, a little bit more interesting zone in general, and then looking for scenario three, possibly holding, coming back out of that zone and heading back up into our upper bearish area. And then, of course, scenario four would be a breakdown of this bullish zone here, heading down into the overall main neutral level here for the stretch target to the downside. All right. So that's the general game plan around these two different lines in the sand today. Right now, they're currently not in a what I would consider like a truly dissonant state. This is still the main idea that we're following to the downside. If it breaks up above, the ES will be kind of following along with what's going on around this general idea from this particular line in the sand, this bullish idea down here. But we haven't come down there to test that idea. So for right now, we're following the downside into this bullish zone. But like I said, if we end up seeing scenario two before getting to this target area down here, then that would be kind of like a switch into a little bit more of a bullish mindset, a little bit more dissonant in the ES overall if scenario two plays out before we get down into this bullish area. Okay, so it's kind of like a sequencing of events today, and something you want to pay attention to, right? So we continue to be bearish down into this zone. So this is kind of like expectation. Let's call it expectation A. And then, of course, if we get to there, that's great. If we get expectation B, where we get up above here, this would be more dissonant of a scenario. This is just following along with what we're currently seeing, heading into a destination / bullish line in the sand to pay attention to. All right, so remember today to mind your risk and trade well.